last November, it accomplished its mission in the Challenger Deep of the Mariana Trench because it went down to more than 11,000 meters under the sea. That's the historical record in the Chinese history. And now it's already been over 3 months. So what's the status quo of this submersible? Let's visit this laboratory and let's invite our photographer to shoot us a scene in front of us. That's the laboratory I was talking about. And in the distance, we can see number Canghai. Together with this driver, those two submersibles went down into the deep sea and took a lot of valuable photos under the water. And now we can see 3 colors in this submersible: green, orange, and yellow. That's the striver. Ever since it was gotten out, it's been placed here for a comprehensive maintenance and repair. From the appearance of this driver, except several coatings and parts underneath, all the others have been done in the repair work. And also, some of the staff have been working. For example, the machinery arm is under the maintenance today. In the office building opposite of us, number 702 of CSSC and the expert panel of Chinese Academy of Science are holding a handover ceremony. After this handover, the striver will be handed over to the institute, and later on it will carry scientists for another round of scientific exploration. In the handover ceremony, what are the highlights of this handover of the striver? Let's watch a clip to see the history of the striver. After reaching 10,000 meters, according to the traditional procedure, the submersible will go further down. To Mr. He Lisheng, what's your feeling at this historical height and depth? The striver is gradually moving towards us. Later on, the lights will be all on. Part of our mission today is to observe the submersible at more than 10,000 meters under sea. At 7:56 Beijing time, the striver has returned back. According to the experts, tomorrow morning there will be a handover score which will decide on whether this mission is accomplished. Through this clip, we reviewed the historical moments of the striver. It had a remarkable performance when it was on duty. Today, we have invited our expert Hu Zhen from 702 Institute. Hello, Mr. Hu. Could you please greet our viewers? Good afternoon, everyone. According to my knowledge, you were part of this team of the striver mission. Yes. So what is the period of this mission? It took about 70 days with 30 missions of going underwater. So basically 30 times of going underwater within about 2 months. Yes. It's quite a long time. Has the striver bumped into any fierce environment on the sea? And what's its performance? In the Mariana Trench, when we did the mission trial, we bumped into typhoon or the tropical cyclone. But the submersible has already been accustomed to such harsh environment. It's challenging, of course. For example, the interception. I don't know if you have noticed when we were live showing. There were some challenges, but no matter how strong, but if the wave is too high, we will cancel the mission. When the wind is strong, we will wait for some time until it turns better. So the poor situation above the water will influence the mission, particularly in the placing down and the returning process. Yes, when we want to let the submersible down and when we want to drag it up, those two sessions will be challenging when the waves are too strong. It's risky. So we conform to the requirements about the climate conditions on the water. We've witnessed the submersible going underwater, and as the chief engineer of this mission, you're quite experienced. To you, in the period of this driver mission, what's its performance? What's your judgment? And I think for this driver mission, we start from 50 meters underwater to over 10,000 at around 10,099 meters. It outperformed our expectations. Its functionalities remained very stable, particularly its performance under 10,000 meters already exceeded our expectation. It accomplished all the missions and the procedures. Is commensurate with our criteria, and it has very few defaults and damages. So for the 2 months of the marine mission, what were we trying to test with this driver? And what will be the criteria for passing the test? For some time, we were preparing over the land. The trial mission on the water was undertaken in several stages from 300 to 1,000 and 5,000 meters. So every 2,000 meters there will be one test mission, and there will be some criteria of examination. We basically check the functionalities of the submersible at different depths and whether the parameters are up to the standard. And of course, the deepest was around 10,000 meters. We want to check the functionalities of the submersible at 10,000 meters, like navigation, cruising, observation, and the equipment, whether they're up to the standard at such a depth. If they are, it passes the examination. And also, it must have at least 2 rounds of navigation under that depth with no damage and fault at all. So what's the criteria for that to trial? In effect, the depth must be over 10,500 meters. There may be some errors in terms of the depth. The submersible may not be able to reach certain depths at every point under the water. And also, another criteria is it must stay over there for at least 6 hours. And all the functionalities must be tested as well. So in the 2 months' time, the striver proved with its performance that it's up to the standard and is a qualified submersible. Now, in this building, we are holding a handover ceremony today. In the marine trial, in addition to test the functionalities of the submersible called striver, has the striver found anything at 10,000 meters under the sea? This is the first time for the submersible to carry the Chinese-made equipment under the water, and also it's the first time manned submersible at 10,000 meters under the water. It took back certain samples, for example, the stones under the water. Scientifically speaking, it's quite a significant breakthrough. The submersible is like a platform for the scientists and researchers. In the future, the scientific investigation of the deep sea projects will have something to rely on. The last time of the submersible's mission was to take with it the scientists and researchers. It proved that this submersible is capable of handling scientific investigation at such a depth. In my understanding, you were quite confident about the performance of the submersible before the trial. Then with the test trial, you have accumulated further experience about it. Now we are handing it over. The certain entities were with us through those trials all around, and some of the members of those enterprises were part of our team. We also test the functionalities of the submersible so as to develop this submersible. And also we want to build our own team capable of maintaining the submersible for future scientific investigations. Last December, this marine mission was accomplished and the striver was returned to Sanya. Now it's already 3 months' time. Why is this handover ceremony held at this time being? After being landed, we tested it. We test the internal structure of the submersible to find out any damage, and also we reviewed the whole procedure of this marine mission, and also we had a manual for the procedures. We also prepared certain scripts. It takes a lot of time. That's why this handover ceremony is held 3 months later. For example, we have to fine-tune the parts in the submersible. It takes time. Today witnesses the handover. our engineers and scientists had more in-depth understanding of the submersible in the mission, and they found something new. And also, it takes some time for all of the staff members to organize the data and the experience of this mission. Yes, indeed, we have to review the whole procedure of this marine mission so as to lay a solid foundation for future discovery and investigation. As I introduced, we are now standing in the laboratory of the Institute of Deep Sea Science and Engineering. That's number Canghai. It accompanied this driver to go down to 10,000 meters under the water for the work. Together with this driver, Canghai took a lot of photos of the valuable moments. So now let's review a clip to look at those beautiful moments under the water. Through that short video, we realized that though the vast seabed looks like a vast desert, there are a lot of lives thriving on it. And now let's look at the site of striver maintenance. Mr. Hu, could you please introduce more to us? The striver is still being maintained today. Is that a procedure before the handover? This is not the task before handover. For such a big equipment to maintain its functionalities and status, we must have a daily maintenance. Every day, every week, and every month, there will be certain regular maintenance. If we find out any damage or problem, we must handle it properly and introduce rounds of testing. Usually after the marine mission, there may be some requirements of technological upgrading, so this is like an upgrading. What type of upgrading are you talking about? For example, we may find a difference of the pump functionality when it goes down under the water compared with over the land. So we may need to improve the functionalities of the pump with testing following. So you mentioned about the technical upgrading. I'm curious that Striver is already a deep-sea manned submersible. In the future, if we want to further upgrade or improve such a submersible, what will be the direction? Because I'm not sure if the 10,000 meters are already the deepest for such a submersible. Yes, such a submersible can cover the whole sea area. And for manned technology, there are two priorities. The first one is to carry more people under the water. That's one direction of improvement. Now it can carry 13 people for about 3 hours. In the future, it may be directed at 20 people to stay under the water for 1 week or even 1 month. In addition, for the deep-sea submersible like Striver, they're a general submersible, a manned platform for some professional functions like rescue, archaeology, and also scientific investigation like those in the North Pole and South Pole, those might be something to learn from for such a submersible. It's just like 5G technology. 4G is fast enough for us to download softwares, to go shopping and watch videos, but 5G is still upcoming, not because of just the speed improvement. It is equipped with some new functionalities to improve our lives. The submersible has already broken the record in terms of the depths, so the future direction for its improvement will be new functionalities. Yes, there may be more scenarios of application and also the introduction of new technologies like those disruptive technologies such as AI. They will boost the development of the submersible. It's also related with the other areas like materials. In the future, it may disrupt the whole model of submersibles. Technical applications may be interwoven and mutually influencing. In addition to manned submersible, the unmanned submersibles are also developing fast over the past several years. In the future, when we are developing new equipment, will the scientists target at a certain scenario or functionality to develop the unmanned submersible in order to be compatible with the manned ones? The manned submersible can do just a part of the total work. A lot of the other tasks under the sea require the unmanned submersibles. Just like the 370 airplane. When the accident happened, the first thing for us is to send out our automatic deep sea robot. The robot can have a widespread scanning and it may discover some suspected target. Then the manned submersible can get in the play to confirm at that certain point if that is the target that we are looking for. ROV or the other manned submersible may get down for the rescue work. For more precise search and rescue or maintenance. So for the missions in the marine, it requires different equipment and submersibles and platforms to work with each other in order to accomplish such a complex task. You make the point. You have mentioned about the cabled or uncabled robots under the water. So between those different equipment, they have their own strengths. They must work together to accomplish one single task. Yes. For those vast work under the water, it's a systemic thing. You mentioned about search and rescue. In addition to scientific exploration, search and rescue, what are the other scenarios for such manned submersible? Archaeology, for example? Yes. For manned submersible, one highlight is that it can carry persons with it. So for the application scenarios, it can certainly be applied in the archaeology field. We have established an underwater archaeology center together with the State Bureau of Cultural Relics, and we found already some relics under the water. It can do a lot. For example, the facility maintenance under the water, the fixed point equipment placing, the long-term observation and testing, and in the future we may have the demand of establishing a lot of facilities under the water, so such submersibles may be applied. You just mentioned about in situ testing at a fixed point. Could you introduce more? That's about holding a trial at a certain point under the water with data acquired. For example, the data may be transferred back to the boat for more analysis and handling. In the future, we will also further carry such information to the deep sea. We can do more than over the land. For example, we can further analyze the features of the creatures under the water. So we can already analyze such a data in situ. We don't have to wait around until the information is transferred back to the boat or over the land. So it's like we're building a platform for the scientists to have more possibilities of scientific research. At about 10,000 meters deep sea, the environment changes greatly from the land. That will certainly reshape the scientific research, of course. Even the precision changes. Most of the creatures may live in a different environment. So to do studies about certain creatures over land, they may not be applicable under the water. Now the submersible driver is placed here for some maintenance. After the handover of driver, are you and your team not going to be part of the work of the driver? Or at least less frequently. Of course, less frequently than before, but we will follow the application of this driver. Our technicians will regularly maintain and repair this driver, so we will still be part of the technical work. Some of our staff members will be on the site for its marine mission to guarantee its proper functionalities. And in the deep sea mission, our technicians will also stay tuned for the operational status of this driver and any other requirements of this driver. For example, the capability improvement. We will do the guarantee work. This driver is under maintenance. What are the details of such a maintenance? Could you please give us more information? In the general sense, we will charge the submersible to check its equipment. For example, the fuel, the gases inside, the battery, the motor system, the sensors. And after a while, we will check the structure. For example, the fixation of the structure, the completeness of the structure. So the tests go stage by stage. We have a procedure. So it's like you have a specification for the testing and maintenance. Yes, we have a manual. You can click on an iPad, and then you can choose it's a heating maintenance, or thermal maintenance, or electricity maintenance. Yes, it's like a table on your iPad. You know what you're gonna face today in your testing, and you can type in the results of your test and check up. So it's quite a convenient system. Our two engineers were just now getting insight through the ladder. So what are they going to do today? They are entering into the cabin to check certain facilities inside. Because all the control systems are inside the cabin. They may have to charge the control system to see if it operates normally. To examine the functionalities of the submersible on land, does it differ from the testing under the water? Yes, of course. The testing contents may differ from those under the water. There will be different status on the land and under the water. There will be different criteria.
好，那我看今天奋斗者号其实它的一个总的一个安装其实基本上都已经结束了，就是下面这两块还是有一个浮力块。
The assembly work has basically been finished today. There are only 2 parts underneath the submersible awaiting for the assembly. So why is that? Beneath the submersible, there are 2 floating units. Those 2 floating units are to some degree damaged under the water, so we are now testing the functionalities of the 2 floating panels. So the maintenance is approaching the end already, yes. It's basically under a good status, so it's ready for mission. The first time I saw the striver, it was not set down under the water yet, but now looking at it, it feels different. After all, it's been down to the Mariana Trench. It's quite experienced, and it's been through a lot. I see a pool over here. What's it for? The submersible may need to be examined under the water. For example, the hydraulic pressure, the propelling functionality requires the submersible to be placed under the water for the testing. I see. Is that the crane? Yes. For the submersible to be placed under the water, the crane must do the lift work, yes, to lift it up and place it down into the pool. The pond seems not big enough. How big is it? It's 20 meters deep. It's big enough for the striver. We basically do some functional testing. The submersible will not navigate in the pond, so the pond is big enough for the testing. Now, our photographer, could you please shoot at this pond? We cannot see the bottom of the pond. The water is blue in color, and the depth is 20 meters. So the pond is used for the underwater testing and commissioning of the system. Yes, we have to examine the whole system in the pond. Particularly before and right after its marine mission, the submersible must be submerged in the pond for a comprehensive evaluation. Why after the mission? Because we want to get rid of saline. It may be erosive to the equipment, so we have to get rid of the salt after the marine mission. It's just like taking a bath after a long day, yes. Now, basically, the striver is already handed over to the Institute of Deep Sea Science and Engineering. Yes, it's ready to operate. Scientists and researchers in the institute are already underway testing the striver. What's the significance of this handover? That's a new stage for the submersible. It's taken as a usual equipment of marine missions the state entities can utilize this submersible for the scientific investigation work. It's already incorporated into the scientific equipment at national level. So just like Jiaolong and others in the future navigation, they will have to undertake some scientific missions. There will be very clear objectives of the missions. It's not going to be pure testing of the functionalities. It will carry certain scientific tasks. Yes, you're right. For example, scientific exploration and investigation or search and rescue is task-based. In addition to marine missions, before the handover, have you done some other preparation and work with the submersible? Of course we did. For example, the document preparation, training of technicians. We offered lectures, and also we had examination of the technicians to see if they're capable of daily maintenance and repair. Okay. We heard that this morning in the handover ceremony, a commission was established. What's the role of that committee? For the deep sea scientific investigation, what's the significance? It's just like a committee of users. The users join hands on that platform. They will apply our submersible for scientific research. They build this committee to see how they can work together to accomplish their tasks between the users and between the scientific tasks. How can they coordinate with each other in order to maximize the efficiency? So that committee was established purposefully to improve the efficiency of the application of the submersible. And also it is paving the way of international cooperation on a large scale. This platform allows scientists and researchers to have thorough exchanges. The 702 Institute will also keep searching new needs or requirements of the users in order to further improve the new generation of submersibles. So this committee has a great significance. It's a very good platform. We just now mentioned that after the handover, it's listed into the national equipment, just like Jiaolong and Sanya, to carry out scientific exploration missions. So in the future tasks, how will the three submersibles interact with each other? Will there be a division of labor? Because after all, as we know, they belong to the submersibles of different depths. Jiaolong was mainly applied for the mineral exploration and also scientific discovery in the oceans. For another one, Shanghai Yongshi, it was mainly applied in the South China Sea and also the marine scientific research. The striver was targeted at the trenches at more than 6,000 meters depth. It is applied in a deep point, and also most of the areas it enters are the hotspot regions. So they have different targets. At certain time points in the future, the three may work together. So in the future, if there is such a complex task, we may be able to see Sanya, Fendouzhe, and Jiaolong working together. Possible. As far as I know, there are only 2 boats carried by the striver, 探索1 and 探索2. Will those 2 work together? Yes. And also, Jiaolong has its parent boat called Shanghai No. 1. After the handover of the striver, together with Shanyongshi and Jiaolong, the regions of their operation may differ, and the tasks they undertake may also differ. Yes, I already said it. Most of the time, there will be different tasks for the 3 submersibles because they have different functionalities and characteristics. There will be specific regions for them to maximize their functionalities. For example, at a deep sea, the striver will be in the play. For Shanyongji, it's fast and convenient, so in the South China Sea, it stays there. For high density of tasks, for Jiaolong, it will enter the Pacific Ocean or Indian Ocean, mostly in the basins home to minerals. But as I said, there will be some overlapping tasks for the 3 submersibles. I have another problem to ask Mr. Hu. Jiaolong has been on the duty for years. Can Jiaolong be good enough for scientific research? In the years of experience, Jiaolong has been improving itself. It has just accomplished another round of upgrading. It's now tested right now. For every submersible, with the years passing by, they will need to be self-improved technically or functionally. So they're not unchanged over the years. They're being upgraded. Like you said, after the last round of marine mission, the striver is ready to operate after today's handover. So is there any recent mission for the striver? From this morning's ceremony, I learned that since the end of April, there will be some new missions for the striver to Mariana Trench, Tonga. It's already in the plan. I see that it has a very tight schedule. Yes, the scientific projects are already planned for the striver. After the end of the handover ceremony, the striver will be handed over to the Institute of Deep Sea Science and Engineering of the Chinese Academy of Science. In the future, the striver will continue to carry scientists to explore the different trenches in addition to Mariana Trench. Now let's take another look at this submersible behind us. In April this year, the striver will continue its missions. The first mission after the handover, so I would love to send my best wishes to this driver. Hopefully it will carry our scientists for more exploration and investigation. Hope that it can bring us more surprises to us. So this is the end of today's live broadcasting. Thank you all for staying with us. See you.